Howdy, folks. Welcome to Thursday's Thoughts. My name is KWHammes, and on Thursdays, I like to kind of talk about whatever it is that happens to be going on in my mind these days. And today, I kind of want to talk about why do we make things harder for ourselves than they have to be. I've noticed I do this about things, and I know other people do it about things because I sit there and I look at people sometimes going, why are you making this so much harder than it has to be? And the funny thing is that sometimes we don't realize we're making it harder for ourselves than it has to be. But let's talk about it. So, an example of this is, knowing that I need to do something different as far as my diet and exercise goes, because, sorry, trying to get my screen set up the way I need it. There we go. There's a lot of times when I make life difficult for myself because, I make it harder than it has to be. It's like, I need to spend some time on my rower. Why am I making that into a big production? I just need to get on there and go for 15 to 20 minutes. It's not like I got to sit on there and go for 4 hours or something like that. I'm not at the position where I would try to be doing any kind of marathon level, exercise and anything else. But, I make it harder than it has to be. I just need to sit down and row. I mean, it ain't that difficult. I make it harder for myself. I build barriers in my own thinking to achieving what it is that I want to do, which is, mainly, keep improving my health, keep losing the weight and everything else. By the way, folks, I have not been able to wear my wedding ring in about 5 or 6 years because of inflammation and weight gain. You want to talk about something that's a non-scale victory? Right there. That is an example of a non-scale victory. And for those of you who don't know what I mean by a non-scale victory, when you're working to lose weight or improve different things, rather than relying on the numbers on the scale where you weigh yourself, you look at other things because a lot of times when you're doing things, you're losing body fat, but you're also gaining muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat. So the numbers may not be changing on the scale the way you want them to, but that doesn't mean you aren't making progress. Okay. So non-scale victory right there. I'm wearing my wedding ring finally again after 5 years. So, like I was saying, I make it harder for myself. I put up these barriers. I put up these excuses where I don't do it as consistently as I need to. Just like, people will know, hey, I need to eat healthier. So they build up barriers and they make it harder for themselves than they have to. I mean, one of the simple ways to make it easy to do something like that is to simply get rid of all the junk food in your house, get all the things that you're trying not to eat out of the house, and only buy the things that you want to be focusing in on. Now, this does not mean that you have to eliminate altogether all these things and everything else. It's like, say you have a, well, here's an example. I love Mrs. Fisher's potato chips. Now, anybody who's ever been around Rockford, Illinois knows exactly what I'm talking about with Mrs. Fisher's chips. Now, you can get them, hi, Becca. You can get them in these big, basically tubs, like a 5-gallon bucket of potato chips, which is great if you're having like a get together and that kind of thing. But I could get one of those things and I would literally just sit there and just eat my way through this thing because I love them that much. But not good for me as a diabetic, not good for anybody to eat that much, just, potato chips. But anyway, where I'm going with this is they also have these nice little sized bags. So I could get that. Now I have the food in my house, but they're in small serving sizes. so that way I can make sure that when I do indulge in this, I'm getting a small controlled portion, you know. Now, see, the funny thing is, okay, yeah, what's to stop me from eating 3 or 4 bags? Nothing but self-control. But the thing is this is doing something that will allow me to have something that I really enjoy as an occasional treat, not as, hey, if I have this big bag of chips, then I want to eat them all before they go bad, because that's just building up excuses in my brain why I'm going to sit there and I'm going to eat all these chips. Now the funny thing is that, we get these little snack pack size things for our kids, for them to take to school. And then sometimes, rather than actually making a sandwich or, getting something real to eat, they will sit there and they will open up 5 or 6 of these little packages. They might be like fruit snacks or little packages of goldfish or whatever it is. They'll end up opening up like 4 or 5 of these things, put them in a bowl so that they can sit there and they can eat them. And I'm like, that's a whole lot more work than just making a sandwich. But yeah, whatever. Sometimes you can't tell kids anything because they all know. Yeah, the other thing that I do is I found snacks that are healthy, that are not going to impact my diabetes, and I keep those around. The other thing is this one here, this has got like crave blockers and stuff in it, the way they formulated it, and to me, it's as good as a candy bar, but it takes care of some that psychological craving of wanting the sweets, but it also satisfies the body's the hormones and stuff that are part of what causes us to have these cravings. Eating some of these foods and doing some of these things, they kick off endorphins, they make us feel good, so we want to keep doing that kind of stuff, right? Hi, Melody. So eating something like this Attain bar, that is something that gives me that kind of a psychological and emotional, I feel good because I'm eating something yummy and sweet. And it also is something that is structured to take care of the physical aspects of it. And, because I'm trying to do the whole eat every 2 to 3 hours, eat smaller, but every 2 to 3 hours, because it boosts your metabolism up, and then you want to keep it running level. So I'm doing that kind of fueling thing, but I'm keeping snacks that are yummy and that kind of thing around. What's the name, please? Attain. I'll send you. I'll message you. And it's you've got to find ways to work with the way your brain thinks, and we make it harder for ourselves, because we try to go against the way our body wants to work. We try to go against the way our thinking is. And you can reprogram your thinking. But the thing is that takes time. It takes effort. And more importantly than anything else, because we're talking about a habit here, is changing a habit takes consistency. Consistency. If I get into the habit of getting on my rower 3-4 times a week, it's easier to do it, because I'm in that mood. I'm doing what I'm normally doing. And by the way, I love my Concept 2 rower. I love it. Because a lot of things, it's only your legs or it's only your arms. I love that it gets everything involved in it. And there are times when I get done, sometimes I feel like I've just got this energy I got to burn off, or I'm frustrated. I don't know about anybody else, but when I get really like worked up emotionally, sometimes exercise is the best thing for me to do, because 1, now I'm flooding my body with endorphins, and 2, I'm too tired afterward to carry that emotional crap. So, getting yourself into these habits takes consistency. And that's the big thing that, a lot of people, they talk about how, oh, this person just did this overnight. Well, it may seem that way, because they went from their their 20 mile an hour to their 80 mile an hour really quick. But how long did it take them to get up that momentum to where they could hit that point at 20 miles an hour where they could go that far and that fast? So there's a lot of consistency. There's a lot of effort that goes into these things that, people who achieve things, what they're doing is they're making their mind reprogram. They're forcing themselves by small, consistent steps. And that's the other big thing is you don't have to make all the changes at once that you want to make in your life. You don't have to make all the things happen at the exact same time. It is okay to do them in chunks. Because let's face it, I could put the most beautiful 12-ounce ribeye steak that's nice, 1.5 inches thick, perfectly cooked. If you're a meat eater, if you're not, then just imagine something yummy that you like to eat. But I could put this in front of you. Now, are you going to have one bite and that whole full-size serving gone in one bite? No. You're going to break it down. You're going to cut it up. You're going to take it into smaller pieces that you can manage one at a time. So a lot of the things that we do in our lives, we make much more difficult than they need to be because we try to see it as this huge monster thing that can't be taken care of. It wears us down. It doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't have to be that way. Because all these huge things, we just need to nibble at them. And eventually you get to where you can start knocking more of it off. And all these small steps start to add up. And next thing you know, it's like, I did these little changes. I did these little things. I did this stuff. I did the R3 program. 6 weeks, folks, of changing my relationship with food, how I planned to eat, what I had around for me to eat. It took a little bit of effort. It took a little bit of pre-planning. I lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks. I haven't gained it back. And this is like 3 weeks ago that was over. I haven't gained it back. And I'm still, the weight isn't changing as much. Yeah, the 20-pound candy bar that calls you daily. Yeah. It's like some of the stuff that we have around the house, for the kids, it's just there that calls my name. Or it's like I'm running errands or something, and then I'll see a Dairy Queen, or I'll see Whataburger. I'm from Texas, so Whataburger, my favorite hamburgers. Okay, I love a good cheeseburger. So I know exactly what you mean, because there's these things that call to me too. But it's like I have a protein bar that I use because eating something high in protein, by the way, really takes your body into that metabolism where you want it to be. And the other thing is it's got the good fuel and everything in there. So you're not going to feel as hungry when you're getting the right kind of stuff in. And I'll tell you, I don't know how many of y'all remember the whatchamacallit candy bar. To me, it's not exactly the same thing, but to me, this is as yummy as a whatchamacallit candy bar. And it's a healthy protein bar. I know what's in it is good for me. And it still feels like a treat, and it still feels like an indulgence. I have a meal replacement shake, a snack that I can use as a snack or as a meal replacement. And one of the flavors is peach cobbler. I don't know anybody else that likes peach cobbler. I love peach cobbler. And this tastes just like peach cobbler. There's another one that I get, and I swear to God, it's like somebody made the perfect blueberry muffin into a shake. It is that yummy. So finding the things like that takes care of the psychological, I want the yumminess, these are the things that I love to eat, that also help you physically to make these changes, that's a big thing for it too. And if you want to know more about the things that I'm using, shoot me a message in Messenger on Facebook. For those of you who are seeing this on YouTube, go to solo.to /KWHammes, and I will put that in the comments on the video, solo.to KWHammes, and you will be able to find me on Facebook. Shoot me a message. I'll be more than happy to tell you about the things that I'm using and the things that I have found, because I'm going to be the first to admit I'm a foodie. I love good food. And for those of you who also follow myself and my wife, Food Fridays, we do Foodie Fridays pretty much every Friday. Depending upon what else is going on, it may not happen because she's stuck at work, or because like last week we were out at Canyon Lake, and we did a bunch of cooking over campfire and that kind of stuff. Didn't really have the setup to where we could do the Foodie Friday. Kind of want to make sure that we plan for that next time, so that way when we're out there we'll have some light and be able to do that, because let me tell you, I love cooking on a campfire. I love cooking with fire. I love cooking. I love fire. I'm combining things. I love food. Hey, got 3 things I love right there. I feel like I'm such a goofball today, but you know what? This is one of the things that's happened with me, is that in pushing past some of these things that I've made hard for myself, I have found an energy, that level that I didn't know I had. I've also found that when I get excited about something, when it's something I'm passionate about, my stuttering isn't nearly as bad. So you can tell when I'm really frustrated, and you can tell when my brain has been kind of knocked out of where I'm trying to go in a thought process, because my stuttering will get bad. And for those of you who knew me way back in the day, that don't know what I'm talking about with stuttering, it is, according to the doctors I saw with the military, it is a psychosomatic reaction. It's not a physical injury that caused it. It is a psychosomatic reaction involving my post-traumatic stress and whatever other psycho gobbledygook they were talking about. So there are times when I am having a lot of stuttering issues. When I first started going live, I had a lot of issues with that kind of stuff, but I made myself do the work consistently. I am now much more comfortable doing this. I have a lot more engagement. I have a lot more variety in my voice. I am not sitting there like Ben Stein on Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Bueller, and he was monotone, everything else. I tend to be a lot more animated. I have found that I feel changed as a person by putting this consistent effort into, by doing these things that I have been doing. So it seemed like an impossible thing, because if you had told me in December, I'm not even going to have to go back a year. In December, if you had told me that I was going to have a YouTube channel and that I was going to be working as a YouTuber, as a social media influencer kind of thing, I would have looked at you and said, you're out of your mind. There ain't no way. That is not me. That is not what I'm going to do. Another big thing that helped with it, though, is my wife getting me involved in the Foodie Fridays. She decided that was what she was going to do. And she also decided that I was going to be a participant in this. Now, the interesting thing is she pretty much had to drag me into this kicking and screaming. I didn't necessarily do that on camera, although you might have found that entertaining. I don't know, maybe. But now I look forward to doing it. Now it is something that is a part of who I am. It's part of what I'm known for. So this is what I'm trying to say, folks. It doesn't have to be hard. We make it hard for ourselves. So let me ask you this question. Do you want to make it hard for yourself? Some things should be hard. Some things should be a challenge. But all of life doesn't have to be that way. So until next time, folks, peace, love, and photography. And remember, everything can make a beautiful image, including you. Don't forget to send me a message if you want to know more about what I've been talking about with the stuff that I've been using. Have a great afternoon. Bye.